Hello and welcome everyone, it's me, TheLaval, also known as the Power Tool Duelist, back for you with another video. Today we are doing a deck profile again of my current Shinobird list. Today I'll be showcasing this cheap and easy Ritual Spirit deck to you guys and what I've come up with and what I have been enjoying for a good couple of months. Starting off, the main deck is a playset of your first boss monster, Shinobird Peacock. Both are level 8 Ritual Spirit monsters, and they work very similar in a way. He lets you on summon bounce 3 monsters your opponent controls to his hand, and lets you special summon a level 4 or lower spirit monster from your hand. In the end phase, that effect is shared with Baroness. He gets, of course, returned to the hand, but when he returns to your hand in the end phase, he summons 2 Shinobird tokens, which are level 4 wind monsters with 1500 attack and defense, to your side of the field, which gets important when we talk about a certain spell card later down the line. Then we have the woman in question, Baroness Peacock. Just like Baron, she on summon removes cards from your opponent's fields, but instead of returning monsters to the hand, she shuffles spell and trap cards back into his deck. Also, when she's summoned, she does not summon a level 4 or lower spirit from hand, she summons a level 4 or lower spirit from your deck. She has the same tag out effect in the end phase, so she's also very cool. And then going into your main deck monster lineup, we have 3 Shinobird Crane. Standard spirit effect, and his own effect is that when another spirit monster, once per turn, when another spirit monster is summoned, then you can draw a card, which of course is very neat because just normal summoning him before you go into your rituals is mostly netting you an extra card and maybe something that can get you closer to OTKing / getting some big hits in. Next up, we excuse me, we have 3 Shinobird Pigeon. Pigeon is, of course, has the standard spirit effect, but he also is able to, once per turn, let you target another spirit you control and return that to the hand, which is just an in-archetype way to activate the effect of your continuous spell and your continuous trap. And that's about it. Then we have a playset of Shinobird Crow. He has the standard spirit effect as well, but his own effect is that when he battles an opponent's monster, you can discard a spirit monster from your hand, and he gains attack and defense equal to the discarded monster's attack and defense until the end of the turn. Then we have 2 Izanagi. He's a level 6 that you can special summon from your hand by banishing a spirit monster from your hand. And he essentially gives you a choice in returning your spirits to the hand. So he's really neat. Also 2200 attack, so he's not that small. Special summoning condition is also easy to meet. And he just gives your spirits a good amount more staying power on the field and makes you able to just have a choice when you want to bounce them back. Maybe you bounce just one to, again, work with the continuous spell in Power Spot or in Salvation, which would be your continuous trap. So having that choice is very neat. Then we have the one of GeneX Ally Birdman. Pigeon is an in-archetype way to bounce your spirit back to hand, bounce the spirits back to hand. He is a non-archetypal way. I don't run an extra deck currently with this build, but Birdman, of course, gives you level 7 or level 9 synchro options. Even level 11 if you want to go that far. But the main thing about Birdman is just being able to return a spirit, proc power spots and Salvation's effect, and get an extra 1900 on board. So he is definitely neat for that. And the next card is something you can run by preference. I currently run 3 Suppression Collider. You can basically run any level 8 vanilla at this point because you are, of course, playing Advanced Ritual Arts with this. Play 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon just to say that you played Blue Eyes Shinobirds or something. But in general, he's just here to get milled out of the deck and summon out your Shinobird rituals, which, as mentioned, you can basically substitute this for any level 8 vanilla you think is cool. And yeah, of course, going with them are 3 Advanced Ritual Arts. Can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster you want, and the cost is that you need to mill vanilla monsters from your deck with a level equal to the ritual monsters level. Just kind of neat, something which gets useful when you run this. So there's that. Then we have the archetypal ritual spell, Shinobird's Calling. Is only able to ritual summon Shinobaroness Peacock and Shinobaron Peacock. You can special summon them by tributing spirit monsters or banishing spirit monsters from your graveyard equal to or higher level than the ritual monster you want to summon, which is very neat, especially the graveyard effect. So you can basically use this, go into a ritual, and then activate a second one to get into another ritual, which I think is really cool. And something that gives this archetype definitely a lot of, maybe only casual, but at least in that case, a good amount of playability. Then the first continuous card I was talking about, Shinobird Power Spot. Not only does this boost your spirits by 500 attack and defense, which is amazing. Just turning Shinobaron into a 3500 or Shinobaroness into a 3k is very neat. And also your main deck spirits, especially Crane, can get really big with this boost. But the most important part about this is that if one or more wind monsters you control are returned to the hand, except during the damage step, you can add 1 spirit monster or 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which of course works in tandem with the end phase effect of Shinobaron and Baroness, because both go to your hand, summon the tokens. This fetches your ritual spell so you can continue playing on your next turn, which is really cool. Then we, of course, we have a ritual spell that specifically lists the ritual materials it needs. So we, of course, run 3 pre-preparation of rites. This lets you add a ritual spell from your deck that specifically mentions a ritual monster and an according ritual monster that you can summon with the ritual spell. Really neat, just basically a +1. So this is one of the definite staples in this deck. Then something that I sometimes get really unlucky with Pot of Desires, with what I banish off it, but maybe you are more lucky, but I still think this is a good inclusion. You could also think about maybe Pot of Extravagance in this case, because you do want to get to your combo pieces as fast as possible to get into that continuous loop of bouncing your opponent's cards, getting your end phase search through Power Spot, and on the next turn doing the same thing again until you win. But yeah, Desires just banish the top 10, face down, draw 2. Really good card. Has been a staple for quite a while now in most more competitive builds. But I feel like in this deck, it's just neat to have. Of course, the common one from the Order of Spellcaster structure deck. As you know, I got 3 of those from the straight out of the toolbox on Endymion. But then capping off the spell lineup is just 1 Scapegoat. As I mentioned, you can run an extra deck with this to use this to make a bunch of Link Spiders and go into a Boral Sword Dragon, or anything else you like. But this also is just a very flexible card in giving you just 4 tokens on maybe your opponent's end phase or in your opponent's battle phase to just soak up some damage if you don't have the setup for the trap card that will be capping off the main deck. yeah, so Scapegoats is cool for that. And then capping off the main deck, as mentioned, is the continuous trap Shinobird Salvation. This card has, just like Power Spot, an effect that while it's face up and a spirit monster is returned to your hand, you can, except during the damage step, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it, which gives you an extra amount of board clearing in your end phase and maybe even in your main phase when you use your ways to bounce your wind monsters back to hand in the form of Pigeon and in the form of G-Nex Ally Birdman, which can help you in some situations. And also, what is really cool about this card is because, of course, it's playing a spirit deck, and you're not always going to have Izanagi around to keep your spirits from bouncing. This also is able that when your opponent declares an attack, banish a spirit monster from your graveyard to end the battle phase, which is amazing. Really cool card. The board clearing helps, and also the protection on your opponent's turn from that all-important battle phase is really cool. So this has been it for my Shinobird's profile. I will probably use this to put up for a quick moment. As I mentioned, this is a very cheap deck that basically anyone can pick up. I'll probably, while I'm talking about this, put up a card market shopping wizard calculation on the screen. But yeah, cheap deck, so anyone can pick this just up at the low cost of, I think it was 15 euros and a few cents. If I remember correctly, I think the shipping cost was even more than the cards were worth in this deck, so you can definitely work a bit there if you want to get a bit more out of the deck. But in general, I'm very pleased with this list. It works very well. I get to my rituals really easily. And maybe this has inspired you to pick up the deck as well. Also, that may be a big plus is the deck is really simple to learn. Because, as I mentioned, you just want to get into that continuous loop of making Shino Baron, bouncing cards, or making Shino Baroness and shuffling cards back. He returns in the end phase, leaves 2 tokens, Power Spot grabs you the ritual spell, and on and on and on. So that will be it. I will thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. But until then, goodbye.